Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Kali Yuga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Welcome back. Hare Krishna. Happy Ekadashi for all of you who are still going strong with our Ekadashi. Happy Dwadasi to all of you who have passed over into Dwadasi. Good to be with all of you again. Great to have this opportunity to sit together in this Sangha and experience some of the best moments in our lives. These are the best times of our lives. The times when we can be together in virtual Vrindavan. Those are the best times. It may not seem like it right now, but as we look back, those will be the times that we remember. Hopefully, these will be the times that create lasting impressions in our minds, on our souls, so that we carry these sanghas, we carry this Vrindavan with us in this life wherever we go, and on into whatever is next for our souls on this great journey and adventure. So today is going to be really special. We're going to talk about several things. But of course, we must first bring our minds into the atmosphere of Sri Vrindavan Dham with its crystal clear waters, its dark Jamuna which winds through the many forests of Vrindavan, the place of wish-fulfilling trees which can grant any desire, but especially those desires which center around serving our most divine best friend, the place where Krishna is the end-all, be-all of all sweetness, love and affection, that place where we can all find what it is we are actually hankering for, true love, in whichever form we are searching for it. So we'll sing Jai Radha Madhava in order to invoke auspiciousness and to bring this divine realm into our midst. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavalabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavalabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatiravana Chari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatiravana Chari O Jashoda Nandana Prajujana Ranjana Jamunatiravana Chari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavalabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jannavalabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Radha Madhava Radhe Govinda Jaya Radhe Govinda Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, there's so much going on lately, especially like astrologically in the sky. And I was just listening to a lecture by my Guru Maharaj, and he was saying that the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is our best defense and one of the best things that we could ever do. In fact, within Srimad Bhagavatam, within the Narayan Kavacha, which is in the 6th canto, it is stated that the Mahamantra can protect us from the influence of bad planets, meteors. It can protect us from our own karmic activities, our own karmic reactions. It can protect us from the influences of other people. So the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is kind of like the best thing we could do. And there are so many other mantras, but sometimes they depend on getting the pronunciation just right. And what if we're not great at that? What if we have not been taught by like actual Sanskrit scholars who know perfect intonation and everything, perfect inflection? You know, holding one vowel a little bit longer than it should can change the whole meaning of a mantra. But the Maha Mantra is so simple that it can act anywhere, on anyone, at any time, in any given situation. Even if we're not perfect at chanting it, it still works. So the glorification of the name, qualities, pastimes, and the form of Sri Krishna can protect us from so many things. So if you are worried about Mercury retrograde, the best thing we can do is chant through it and watch as Krishna unfolds his miracles in our lives. If you're worried about the influences of other people, the best thing we can do is to chant through it and watch as Krishna moves us like chess pieces, the chess games that he is so fond of playing. We can become pawns in his transcendental Leela. So we can chant through anything, and we should chant through anything. This is the best defense we have. In fact, in this lecture, he said, even if there are meteors coming at you, if we are chanting, it puts us in the best possible situation that we could ever be in. So it's really good. It's good to know when to increase our mantra meditation, which is kind of like always, especially in this age of duplicity, in this age of misunderstandings, in this age of quarrel, in this age of self-doubt, in this age of so many ugly qualities. It's like always a good idea for us to increase our mantra meditation with this king of all mantras, this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it becomes so simple. Not easy, but simple. The difficult part comes in like controlling our minds, controlling our hearts, making sure that the fear and anxiety are kept at bay. So it's not always easy, but it is quite simple. So there's that. It's always a good time to chant. And I was reading from the Science of Self-Realization, and Srila Prabhupada was making the point that within Vrindavan Dham, there is a transcendental competition. Everyone in Sri Vrindavan Dham is trying to serve Krishna. And then Krishna, out of his great gratitude, is then trying to serve his devotees. Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna is as anxious, if not more so, than to serve his devotees who serve him wholeheartedly. So we never get left behind. Our feelings are never forgotten. Our feelings are never cast aside. Our hearts are always taken into consideration by Krishna. And the more we serve him, the more he yearns to give himself and serve us somehow, which is such a deep thought. The Supreme Divine Being yearns to serve those who love him. That's what he wants, according to our Vaishnav teachers, our spiritual grandfather. Such a wonderful, beautiful thought. And he goes on to say that because of this, Krishna loves his affectionate names like Yashodanandana, Braja Janaranjana, because these names remind him of how he yearns to serve his own devotees. These names remind him of how his devotees bind him up with love. And of course, those pastimes will be coming soon, because the month of Kartik will be upon us very shortly. But he yearns to be bound with love, and then he yearns to bind others with love. So this is our Krishna. This is our meditation as we sing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Srila Prabhupada goes so far as to say this is what it means to be Gopi Janas, to be followers of the gopis. To yearn to meditate on, serve Krishna with our very beings, mind, soul, body, words, thoughts, deeds, everything. This is what it means to be Gopi Jana, followers of the gopis. And in that way, Sri Krishna is the life of not just the gopis, but the followers of the gopis. And in giving life, he gives pleasure to all the senses. He protects the heart. He nurtures the heart. He gives protection to the heart. And therefore he is known as Govinda. So this is what we can think of whenever we sing Jai Radha Madhava. Not just that the realm of Vrindavan is appearing, but that we are calling upon that Krishna who is known through his affectionate dealings with his devotees. Reminding him, I'm a soul surrendered unto you. I'm trying my best. I'm trying. Even if I'm not totally surrendered right now, I'm trying. So just remember me also. Just appear in my life also. So today is a day for a very mystical marriage. Today is a day where we get to journey back into the divine realm of Sri Vrindavan Dham through the pages of the Venu Gita. And we read from this Venu Gita yesterday, put together by His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj. And we'll be continuing with that today with a very, very special pastime. So this is going to be a day for a mystical marriage. I hope that you're all ready for lots of sweetness, because that's what's in store for us. So first, as we did yesterday, we can chant the prayer that Kondinya Muni advised everyone to chant during the month of Purushottam. For these last few days, we can really absorb ourselves in this prayer. Govardhana Dharam Vande Gopalam Goparupinam Gokulotsavameshanam Govindam Gopika Priyam. I worship Gopal, the lifter of Govardhan, who has the form of a cowherd boy. He is the festival of Gokul and the supreme controller of all. He is Govinda and the beloved of the gopis. By chanting this mantra with devotion during Sri Purushottam month, one will attain Sri Purushottam himself. One should devote the Purushottam month to constantly meditating on the two-armed form of Sri Krishna, who has the complexion of a new monsoon rain cloud, who plays the flute, who wears a yellow silk dhoti, and who is accompanied by Srimati Radharani. So now let us see what our best friend, in his yellow silk dhoti with his complexion of a new monsoon rain cloud, accompanied by his dearest beloved, what adventure will he go on today? What will he do next? One day, the king of cowherds visited Bhandiravan forest, which is dear to the yogis, and whose darshan saves one from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Walking by the shore of the Jamuna, Nanda Maharaj allowed his cows to graze on the luscious grass as he delighted in showing Krishna the moving creatures of the forest. At that time, Sri Krishna, who although playing the role of a helpless infant, was the self-sufficient, omniscient controller of all, ordered many ominous, dark clouds laden with wind and rain to fall to fill the sky. Strong winds humbled the tamal and kadamba trees and spread a great carpet of ripe and unripe fruit everywhere. When a great darkness descended, blinding the cows, forest creatures, and Maharaj Nanda, the frightened infant Krishna began to cry in the arms of his father. So first Krishna makes a storm, and then cries, being afraid of the storm. So oftentimes my Guru Maharaj will refer, many people will challenge those who have faith, saying, well, if God is so powerful, then can Krishna create a rock that he cannot lift? Saying that God can create everything, anything. So can God create a rock, a stone that he cannot lift? My Guru Maharaj said that Srila Prabhupada would often say, yes, he can. And then he'll lift it. Because he's inconceivable, self-sufficient, and omniscient. This is what it means to be inconceivable. Yes, God can create a stone that he cannot lift, and then, due to his inconceivable potency, he'll lift it. So we see that even as a baby, Krishna would perform so many mysterious things. He'll create a storm, and then simultaneously be afraid of that storm and cry just like a regular baby. Nanda Maharaj became afraid for the welfare of his son, and being far from the shelter of his village and servants, he simply prayed to the Supreme Lord Narayan for protection. Immediately, a golden effulgence covered him from all directions, and the king of Gokul saw Sri Radhika in her Kishori form, dressed in blue garments, decorated with many ornaments, and defeating the beauty of many goddesses of fortune approaching him. So Srimati Radhika now appears in the form of a young girl. Not a baby, but a young girl. Bowing before the supreme energy of the Lord, Nanda Maharaj said with folded hands, "O goddess, you are the first beloved of Lord Hari, who has now blessed my family by appearing as my son. I take shelter of you. Please protect me." So, I have a feeling, some of you are wondering, but we've spoken about Vrindavan Dham before. We've spoken about Sri Krishna and his parents so many times before. And everyone in Vrindavan Dham, the most attractive quality is that they don't realize Krishna's God. So it's not just that they don't realize, they actually do know. Garga Muni comes to them and says, "This boy is just as powerful as Lord Narayan. As long as he is with you all will be protected. He will bring great fame and fortune to the cowherds. He will bring all auspiciousness to your tribes, to your kingdoms. He will perform mystical activities. This boy is extremely powerful." So they know these things. And sometimes Nanda Maharaj himself will remind Yashoda Mata of these things. And then, because they operate on the platform of transcendental, all-encompassing love, they forget. So even though they know these things, whenever Krishna is in danger, whenever Krishna needs anything, they forget. And Nanda Maharaj has the great fortune of thinking, "Oh, I must teach my son to walk. I must hold out my fingers so that he can wrap his small hands around just my fingers and help him to walk, because if I don't, he'll fall and then he'll cry. I must teach my son the right way to behave. I must show by example what is a true gentleman, and then my son will know." So this is the parental affection. Knowing that the Supreme is there, playing in your courtyard, but your love overwhelms all of that knowledge. They know, but they don't care. They love Krishna too much. They love him so much that all of his awe and reverence and omniscient potency shrivels up and disappears. In the wake of that love, Sri Krishna is not God. In the wake of that love, he's just a boy. The most wonderful boy in creation. The most wonderful object of their love. So it is in this regard that Nanda Maharaj can pray to Srimati Radharani saying, "You are the consort of Lord Hari, who has appeared in my house." He's holding Krishna saying, "This is the Supreme Person. Oh, by the way, also, please protect me." So this is the parental affection. This is the transcendental love of Nanda Maharaj. Smiling charmingly, Sri Radha stretched out her arms and took baby Krishna from Nanda, who continued, "O Devi, please take your Lord from my arms, for he has become frightened by the clouds, the wind, and the thunder. While I herd the cows back to my village, I request you, please take my son home to his mother, so that he may no longer fear this dreadful situation." Saying, "So be it," Radhika took the baby from Nanda's arms and, holding him affectionately to her chest, started on the path through Bhandiravan forest back to Gokula. In a forest grove, protected from the elements, filled with the sweetness of spring, and decorated with scented garlands, flags, and festoons, baby Krishna became a wonderful Kishore, a wonderful youth, splendid as a dark cloud, dressed in yellow garments, holding a flute, and more enchanting than a host of Kamadevs. So this is the same description that we just read in that verse by Kondinya Muni. So now not only is Radharani a young girl, but now Krishna is no longer an infant. Mystically, he is a youthful young boy. Admiring each other's enchanting features with sidelong glances and concealing smiles, Kishore Kishori stood in that grove like a newly formed cloud, and its first flash of lightning. Then Lord Brahma, the leader of the demigods, appeared from the sky, riding his swan carrier, and bowing down before Lord Krishna, spoke. Dear Krishna Chandra, who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, dear Radha, who are his eternal consort, I take shelter of your lotus feet. You are appearing in this world to exhibit your eternal pastimes, and I desire to perform your marriage ceremony so that ignorant people, misunderstanding your conjugal love, will not commit offenses and bring ruination upon themselves. So, very mystically and very mysteriously, even though they were babies, it seems as though Sri Sri Radha Govinda had their marriage ceremony performed. So all those times people think, but how can Krishna do like this with the gopis, all these things? Krishna makes a way. And so Lord Brahma says, so that people do not commit offenses toward you, so that they do not misunderstand your dealings, let me perform your marriage ceremony right now, at the very beginning of your earthly pastimes. Even though outwardly you were in the forms of babies, now mystically you are youths. Smiling, lotus-eyed Sri Krishna took his beloved by the arm and went to a wedding pavilion decorated with kusha grass, water pots, and many other things prepared by Lord Brahma. Imagine having a mandap decorated by Lord Brahma himself. Imagine the fortune of Lord Brahma being the one to decorate that wedding mandap. Sitting on a beautiful throne, Radha Krishna shone like a dark cloud and lightning while conversing sweetly with each other and the Creator. In the presence of many demigods and forest creatures, Brahma ignited the sacred fire and performed the wedding ceremony of the divine couple. At its conclusion, he requested that they circumambulate the fire and bow down while he chanted sacred mantras. Radhika was very timid in the presence of such august personalities as she placed her lotus hand on Sri Hari's chest, and Sri Krishna happily lay his hand on Sri Radhika's back, with her downcast eyes emanating a blue radiance. She placed a lotus garland filled with humming bees about Sri Krishna's conch-like neck. In the same way, Sri Krishna playfully placed another garland upon his bride's shoulder, and then once again they bowed before the sacred fire, which was cheerful to be purified by their presence. Like a father gives away his dear daughter, Lord Brahma, who in Sri Radha had exhausted his creative powers to fashion a match suitable for Sri Krishna, gave her away, placing Radha's hand in Krishna's. At this, the demigods showered flowers, their wives danced, the Gandharvas sang, and the forest creatures offered glances laden with love. Imagine being those fortunate forest animals. Sometimes we think of the different personalities within Vrindavan and we think of cowherd boys, gopis, Nanda Maharaj, the older gopas and gopis, but just think what the animals have witnessed. Can we just imagine what the peacocks of Vrindavan have seen? What the squirrels and the birds of Vrindavan have seen? This is their fortune. They get a vision the likes of which no one else in all of creation could have seen. And so we often hear that many great acharyas and personalities will pray to be anything in Vrindavan, a clump of grass even, just a particle of dust, because everything in Vrindavan is conscious and alive and yearning to serve Krishna. And then, the way Krishna reciprocates with each and every living entity in Vrindavan is unparalleled and filled with sweetness. Because the animals, filled with love and bliss, are witnessing the marriage of Shri Radha Govinda in this very mysterious and mystical way. Again and again, the demigods sounded many musical instruments and called out Jai, Jai, making an auspicious sound that mixed with the rolling of thunder. Then Radha and Krishna blessed Brahma with devotion and placed their lotus feet on his heads. Lord Brahma's innermost desires having been fulfilled, he mounted his carrier and, accompanied by the demigods and their wives, left that place. So we started Sri Purushottam Mas this month with the reading and the telling of the prayers of Lord Brahma, when he goes and he tests Krishna by taking away the boys and the calves that Krishna was herding. And now we are ending here. We have at the end of the month Lord Brahma performing the marriage ceremony of Radha Krishna, having his innermost desires all fulfilled, being blessed with devotion. Radha and Krishna remained alone with the happy forest animals, who reluctantly returned to their own homes, impelled by the will of Yoga Maya. After eating many kinds of foodstuffs prepared by Sri Radha, Shyam Sundar walked with his new bride through the beautiful forest, gazing at the Jamuna, the flowering vines, and the magnificent trees bowing before them. Playing hide and seek among the groves, Radhika and Madhava pleased each other by their sweetness, kindness, and mutual love. When they reached a very secluded grove, they performed a rasa dance as the thundering clouds kept time to the tap-tap of their lotus feet and the jinni-jinni of their ankle bells. Sri Krishna then decorated his beloved with many flowers, beautiful jewels, and pictures drawn in minerals. How sweet! How glorious! Who is a better artist than Krishna? And now he draws on his beloved. Can you imagine drawing the intricate designs of Alta and Mendi on her own hands? Drawing those intricate designs on her own feet. When Sri Radha desired to adorn him in the same way, Govinda abandoned his teenage form and again became an infant. Crawling on the ground and crying as before, Sri Krishna was seen by a bewildered Radha who began to cry, saying, "Oh, my beloved, why do you show this illusion to me now? Where have you gone? Where have you gone?" As a despondent Radha wept, a voice from the sky somewhere above said, "O dearly beloved, do not lament, for in time all your desires will be fulfilled." Hearing this, Sri Radha composed herself, and taking the baby in her arms, quickly returned to the home of Braja's queen. What happened when she entered the palace of Nanda, we did not see. These are the different peacocks who are actually telling this story, because the animals of Vrindavan were the ones who witnessed this pastime. So peacocks are speaking to each other, the forest animals are talking to one another and describing this pastime. So what happened when she entered the palace of Nanda, we did not see. However, a Chataka bird informed us that Sri Radha, in the guise of Lord Narayan's internal potency, handed the child to Yashoda and said, "Your husband gave me your fearful son on the path which leads to your village. I now entrust him to your care, for he cried in fear of the darkness and the clouds. Mother Yashoda praised Sri Radha, who returned to her own home and took an infant form in the crib of Rishabhanu's palace. Under the influence of Yoga Maya, she lost remembrance of all that had happened and, exhausted, fell asleep. These are the wonderful pastimes of Shri Shri Radha Govinda. We have been so blessed to have been given access to these pastimes. And so we see that even as babies, our Radha Govinda took unprecedented forms, never before seen. And then they were married by Lord Brahma himself. And in that place of Bhandiravan, there are still sculptures, there are many art relief forms that are depicting this marriage ceremony, because it is still celebrated in that place today. And there are very many sweet pictures of Lord Brahma there officiating the marriage ceremony of Shri Shri Radha Madhava. So sometimes we think, oh, but Krishna left the gopis, he did not marry them, he was so cruel, all these things. We see how Krishna fulfills all desires. Krishna knows everyone's heart. He knows everyone's desire, he knows everyone's prayer. And he is always yearning to fulfill those desires and give pleasure to his own devotees. After all, isn't he our Govinda? So, I promised wedding stories during Purushottam month, and I hope that I have delivered. We'll see if any more come about in these last few days. But this was a pastime filled with unparalleled sweetness. We could meditate forever and ever and ever on the vision of Sri Sri Radha Madhava circumambulating the fire, the sacrificial fire, while Lord Brahma himself would chant the Vedic mantras and offer oblations of ghee into the fire, while he would direct them in what to do next, while Sri Radhika would glance at Krishna out of the corner of her eye, feeling shy in the presence of all of the assembled demigods who would arrive just to shower their choicest praise and prayers on the divine couple. And we are often advised that we can think of the Mahamantra as the Yugala mantra, the mantra where Radha Krishna are brought together again. Every word of the Mahamantra refers to this divine couple. And so we can chant it thinking of this marriage ceremony, allowing it to give joy to our hearts, allowing it to pull us deeper into the secrets of the Mahamantra. There are untold secrets hidden within these 16 words. All we have to do is be eager to find them. And then by Krishna's mercy, by the mercy of Radha Govinda, all these secrets begin to reveal themselves. So it's wonderful and gorgeous, the very sheer amount of pastimes that Krishna will give us, just so that we have something to talk about. He says people are fond of speaking about others, just speak about me. I'll always give you another adventure to speak about. I'll always give you something heroic to concentrate on, something romantic, something wonderful, something astonishing. So we can think of these pastimes, we can meditate on them, and we can pray to Radha Govinda. Please, by the mercy of your beautiful pastimes, protect me. In all walks of life, in all areas of life, protect me, protect my heart, and protect me from even desiring things that are bad for me. Protect me from those around me who seek to control me. Protect me from all those around me who wish me harm. And protect me from my own mind, which sometimes wishes to harm me. How often does our mind work against us, saying, you can't do this. You don't have the wherewithal to chant those rounds. You don't have the attention span to chant. Go do something else. You'll never make it. All of those doubts that say you'll never make it back home, back to Godhead. You'll never reach Krishna's abode and Krishna's embrace. Well, we can pray to Krishna, protect me. Kidnap me from my own mind. Kidnap this heart. Take the reins of this chariot that I call my body, my life, my soul. You take charge. You drive it now. I'm so tired of having to fight with my mind. Now, Krishna, you do it because you are inconceivable and inexhaustible. You have the strength to be able to fight the mind. You have the strength to be able to love me even when I cannot recognize myself. You have had the strength to love me lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, whether I was conscious of you or not. So now we can pray to Krishna. Now you do the rest. You please help. Kidnap me. Protect me. And in protecting me, don't let anything bad happen to your property. I am your property now. Enclose me within your protective shield. Krishna is always yearning and willing to do that. The moment Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita, okay, Krishna, I'm a soul surrendered unto you. You now please instruct me. Tell me clearly what is best for me, because I've lost all hope. Then Krishna reveals the workings of the entire material creation. And he even reveals the workings of how to win him over, winning his very heart. And he does it all, not just for Arjuna, as a promise to us as well. Every time he says, I promise you this because you are my very dear friend, he's speaking to us also. So Krishna is always ready and willing to drive this chariot of our lives. All we have to do is say, I surrender. I give it to you. Give it to Govinda. I wrote a piece once that was saying that time heals everything. If you are feeling raw, hurt, whatever it is, give it time. But from Bhagavad Gita, what do we hear? Who is time really? Govinda himself says, time I am. So really, what heals everything? Govinda. Give it Govinda. If you have a problem in your life, give it to Govinda. If you feel hurt, raw, you want to learn to forgive, whatever it is, give it to Govinda. That is the real thing that will heal us, heal our souls, and protect us in the future. Govinda, his mercy, his love. And so we constantly hear about the string of pearls on his neck, how it represents all the living entities under his shelter, resting on his broad chest, taking shelter of his very heart. That is all of us. You are all Govinda's property. We are all Govinda's property. So now we ask that divine personality, now you take charge of your property. You make sure nothing happens to me. I've tried for so many lifetimes to be in control. I failed. A lot. But now here, maybe I can succeed because I understand that being in control is just about surrender. It's only about surrendering to you. And in this way, we get what our hearts have always longed for. That inexhaustible love that our hearts have been yearning for, searching for in so many different places, in people, in things, in hobbies. We find that love in Krishna. As Sachinandan Maharaj says, there is a Krishna-shaped hole in our heart. Nothing will fill that vacuum. Nothing except Krishna. And then Krishna does the amazing, most impossible thing ever. He sends his mercy even through his devotees. So sometimes we think, if all we need is Krishna, why do we need to hang out and associate with other people? Krishna also sends his mercy through his devotees. He sends his mercy through that association. Sometimes he speaks to us through those other people. When our hearts are so shut down and so traumatized that we cannot hear Krishna, sometimes he thinks, okay, maybe he will hear my friend. Maybe she will hear my friend. If she cannot hear me, I'm calling to her, but maybe, just maybe, she'll hear my friend. And so he sends teacher after teacher after teacher. He sends devotee after devotee after devotee. He sends lover after lover after lover of God, who just say, it's okay. Give your heart. Take a chance on this one last loving affair. This spiritually loving affair. Take a chance on this one. And see the magic that it brings. And sometimes we fight back. And they fight back harder. I know your heart is tired. I know your heart has been traumatized. I know your soul has been through lifetimes of conditioning. So much so that we think that we don't even want to know Krishna sometimes. It's too difficult. But then they keep trying. I know your heart is traumatized, but just one time. Take this one chance on this divine love affair and see what magic awaits for you. See what miracles unfold in your life. This is what we've been uncovering during this Purushottam month. That anything and everything that we dream of within our heart of hearts can be full and complete reality. All we have to do is open our hearts to Krishna. And then all of a sudden, he makes dreams come true in ways that we never thought possible. We've learned so much this month that Krishna will fulfill all desires, but he will not fulfill a desire that will just put his devotee in more pain. So sometimes I've been thinking about that and meditating on it recently, thinking, wow, all those times I thought I wanted something or other, and Krishna held off on giving me that whatever it was I thought I wanted. What if he was just protecting me from hurting myself further? What if that would have just given me more pain? My beloved was protecting me and still is. Krishna's not taking his time. He's not forgetting about you. He's not just somewhere playing games with your destiny and your future. Krishna is always working in your favor. Every moment, every instant. He is right within your heart, right with you at every single moment. There is not a moment that goes by that you cannot contact him. Never is there a time when he is not with you. Never is there a time when he will not love you. And never is there a time when he does not want to hear from you. He always wants to hear from you. We just have to contact him with love and affection. Open our hearts one more time. Take that one last chance on this spiritual adventure and see what awaits us. So please know that Krishna is not callous. Krishna is not hard-hearted. Krishna is not careless with your feelings. The pain that you feel, he feels 1,000 times more. Krishna is unlimited. His feelings are unlimited. So what he feels for us is unlimited. So when he sees you in pain, just know that it hurts him so many thousands of times more. And sometimes, the only thing stopping him from helping us is us. We stand in the way. We think we can do it. We stand in the way. We tell him we don't want his help. We have to release that yearning for control. Release it, understanding that surrender is actually the sweetest thing we could ever do. Surrender is not the giving up of control. Surrender is the taking up of shelter. We don't give up anything. We only gain. We gain Krishna and his whole heart. We gain the best of everything in creation. So I thank you all for being with me again. I thank you all for listening to this mystical marriage ceremony performed by Lord Brahma for the divine couple Shri Radha Govinda. And I thank you for journeying with me, for taking a chance on Govinda, for giving your heart to Govinda one more time. Whether you thought you could today or not, you showed up. We showed up. We did it. We did an amazing thing. We showed up, we heard together, we read together, we did devotional service together. So today is a success. We did it. We did amazing things. So I thank all of you for being here. And I hope that you'll all join me again tomorrow. And we'll see what amazingly sweet pastimes our best friend will go on next. We can become part of these pastimes. We've somehow gotten the entry. Thank you all. Until then, Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the wedding ceremony of Shri Radha Govinda. All glories to Lord Brahma who performed that most sweet wedding ceremony. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our Vaishnav Sangha. All glories to Ekadashi Devi. All glories to Purushottam Mas. I'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.